We're starting out laying down so we can start to get the energy to come down low and get into kind of relaxation mode here. So take a little time to fidget yourself into the most ideal laying down place. You might find it feels good after a day of doing things that are all in front of you to kind of press your shoulder blades down, rolling your palms up to the ceiling. And feel your chest expand as those shoulder blades get nice and heavy under your heart. Take a little moment just breathing into that big, broad space between your shoulders. And find that big breath here. Big inhales in your belly and your chest, your front and your back, right and left side. Okay, and then maybe find just the right position for your lower body. If your lower back is bothering you today, okay, maybe try bending your knees and dropping them together as your feet are a little wider. This will give a nice internal rotation to your hips, and that'll give your low back a lot of spaciousness to kind of neutralize into. So experiment with that. On the flip side of that, you might prefer putting your feet together and dropping your knees out if your inner thigh and hips are feeling tense. So let's take a little more time just laying here, breathing deeply. Finding a lot of expansion and freedom across the front and back of the body with each inhale. And perhaps cultivating a sense of release with each exhale, letting go of tension that may be holding on. And it's nice to give ourselves a little transition time here, kind of stepping away from the world outside the mat. Off the mat, we're very focused on accomplishing things and performing things with precise quality and producing. However, give yourself permission in this moment to not strive for anything, to produce nothing, and just here, just be. Just pausing exactly where you are in this moment, in this day, in this chapter of your life, on this tiny dot floating in unimaginable space. Enjoy this moment, feel it. Begin to notice if there are parts of your body that you might feel more than others right now. Maybe places of tension, maybe soreness, depending on what you did this week. Maybe you feel strong and open in some places. Give those places equal acknowledgement. And let's start to move a little bit. We'll bring in some lower body movement here. So put an extra sense of grounding in your shoulder blades so that we can stabilize to allow more movement in the lower body. So when we have stability, we get that much more mobility. It frees us up. So send your shoulder blades really far down, and I want you to kind of peel open your chest a little bit, like you're kind of smiling your collarbones. All right, make those collarbones make a nice smile. Grounded in your upper body, bend those knees, and we'll start to drop them side to side. So beginning to encounter the lower body with some gentle movement, feeling it out in the hips, low back. And remember to breathe. See if you could keep the upper body really stable as you do this. Notice how that feels. Okay, maybe activate this more, moving the knees more downward, or maybe keep it really gentle. I want you to always be tailoring your practice with my suggestions or not. Maybe you're going in a different direction. Okay, most importantly, you're feeling good and you're breathing. Okay, next time your knees point up, pause here and get all your legs up in the air. Circle your ankles out. Feels nice in the ankles. Maybe sure you do circles in both directions, trying to get that fullest range of motion that you can. Until, we're going to move the ankles until we feel the shins and the calves kind of start to get warm. Let's do some figure eights. Give me some really nice, robust range of motion here. Okay, really get the feet moving and then reverse your figure eights, please. Okay, now write your name in capital letters. Ankles should be actually getting a little bit tired today, right now. Feeling that heat. And let it go. Bend your knees in. Okay, and take your arms out wide to the side. So we're really going to anchor the upper body now. Okay, and we're thinking of the knees are trying to move toward the chest, but they're, of course, still floating a little distance away. But there's an inward engagement. And let's just hover the knees over to the right. Think of looking to the left while you do this. And take a breath. Make sure the shoulder blades are grounded and the knees are hovering. Let's bring the knees through center and drop them to the other side. Again, look away from your knees. Hover the knees, ground the shoulder blade, and feel that twist for a breath. And then let's bring the knees side to side for a few times, keeping those shoulder blades grounded. Allowing a deeper twist to kind of roll up the spine here. I like to inhale through center and exhale on the twist. But most importantly, just keep breathing. So allow this gentle twist to massage your spine, warm the tissues of your back, and also feel really good. And next time the legs come up through center, let's pause here. Drop your feet. Bring your hands down beside your hips, and we'll do some bridges. So waking up the back of the body a little more now. Okay, knees are pointing up. And in our bridge posture, we want to remember some alignment cues as we keep going. So keep in mind as you move that the knees are moving toward each other. So we want a slight inward engagement between the legs, although there is a little space, okay? So inhaling, lift your hips. Keep your tennis ball between your knees. And exhaling, drop your hips. And let's continue to move and breathe. Just like that, let's do it some more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Keep it going. Okay, find a nice pace. Maybe close your eyes and just turn this into a nice little moving meditation. I find it quite a relief that when you're trying to hold an imaginary tennis ball between your knees and move your hips up and down, it's hard to think about anything else. And so that makes this a moving meditation. As you move, please keep your nose pointed directly up so that there's always a soft, neutral space under your neck. It's never mooshing to the ground. Okay? And could we start to roll the spine a little bit more? Roll it down one vertebra at a time. Roll it up. Focusing more on mobility and flexibility here in the spine, as well as keeping that core control. Tennis ball between the knees. As you move, could you also keep in mind always moving the tailbone away from the top of the head so that we get always a sense of length in the spine. All right, next time the hips are up, let's just hold it up there and enjoy. I'll give you some options to play around with your upper body. Sometimes it's nice to reach your arms up overhead here. Okay, it's kind of a nice upper back massage, and I kind of like to roll up and down on it a few times. So enjoy that. Cactus arms are also kind of nice for mooshing out the backs of your shoulders. So kind of use this opportunity for a floor massage for your upper back, okay? You won't regret it. Or you might enjoy more of a stretch across the front of your shoulders to just join your hands underneath you. You may have to walk your feet a little bit different position, who knows, but try to join the hands under you and maybe scoot your shoulder blades way underneath your heart. And perhaps using that downward press of your arms, you could open up your heart even more to the ceiling. So let's just take a few more breaths wherever you are, whatever variation you've chosen. Keep that inward moving knee, that nose pointed up. Maybe one more breath here as you push the floor away. And on your exhale, roll your spine down. Keep it long, make it slow, long and slow. And once your tailbone has uncurled, bring your knees in. One knee in each hand. Let's roll the hip sockets out. So each femur is kind of stirring around. Make big circles. Rewind it. Okay, once your knees are together, tuck your hands behind your knees. Let's take a few rocks and rolls, okay? Rock it up, roll it down. I like to balance up top, or you could just touch your toes down. So nice and slow, just get that nice back massage feeling on the mat. It's mostly what we're looking for, just a free back massage. Maybe 3 more times, up and down. As fluid as you can, okay? Even if it doesn't feel fluid. Maybe one more. And then you can cross your ankles and roll over to hands and knees. From your hands and knees, take a big breath in, push into your left hand and reach up with your right. Huge breath in here, peel open your chest. With your exhale, put your right hand down under your shoulder, but turn the fingertips to point back at your knees. Nice wrist stretch. Okay, let's do the other side. Inhale, left hand up, big chest. Exhale, get the left side wrist stretch. Put the palm down, but fingers pointed back at you. And let's do that a few more times. Inhale, reach it up. Right hand wrist stretch. Other side, reach it up on the left. Left hand wrist stretch. Okay, now you take a few more like this. Okay, great. Opening across the chest. The forearm should be feeling good about it. And if you can, cultivate a little soft bend in your elbows, please, so that they're not locking. The muscle is working and we're not collapsing into the joint. Okay, next time all your hands are down, pause here. Let's do some cat-cows just like this, if you can stand it. If not, you can, of course, come out if there's any pain. But inhaling here, pull your heart forward. Exhale, push the floor away. Keep it going, find a little pace, a little rhythm. Okay, notice how that feels in the wrist. Should be feeling pretty good. Remember to roll into the side body a little bit for your cat-cows. And then bring it back to a flat back. And you can take your hands back to normal now. And maybe turn them over the other way so that the palm is facing up, fingers pointing at you. And we'll just kind of rock around, do some circles there. And circle it out the other way. And then one more thing, point your fingers inward, palm facing up, so fingers pointed in at each other. And we'll just kind of rock side to side with your elbows bent. Soft bend on the elbows always. Okay, bring it back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, and we'll lift the hips, walk your hands back to your feet. So we're hanging here for a moment. And let's generously bend the knees, maybe walk them kind of wide, okay? And then I just want you to hang. Let your head hang, close your eyes, shake it out. Maybe grab your elbows. I like to sway, okay? Finding a little bit more space in the low back with each breath. Enjoy a few more breaths here, just kind of hanging. Nothing more. Okay, from here, release your hands if you were grabbing your elbows. Put your fingers back down and just point your toes more out and your heels more in. And then drop your hips down into a squat, okay? It's okay if your hips don't come down really low. Just go down as much as is comfortable. And feel free to adjust your feet, okay? Nice and tall in your spine, looking forward. Maybe put your palms together. You ready? Inhale here. Come up to standing. Interlace your fingers. Flip your palm up. At the top of your inhale, lean to the left. Okay. Back up to standing. And we're going back down to that squat. Okay. So we'll think of inhaling up. Lean to the right now. Exhale back down into the squat. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale up, interlace fingers, push them to the left. Exhale to your squat. Inhale up, interlace fingers, push them to the right. Exhale to your squat. So you keep going. Just want to get the hips nice and open. A little gentle movement. Shoulders and armpits nice and open. Side body opening up. Maybe one more time on each side, okay? Okay, next time you come up to the left, pause there. And breathe. And I'm going to turn slightly, okay? Because I want you to see where I want to go with this. So you're up at the top of your squat. Your hands are reaching out to the left. Come up on your right tippy toes. Okay, now come up on your left tippy toes. And I just kind of want you to feel where your center of gravity is. Okay, next time you've come up on your left tippy toes, all your weight is in your right foot. Hold. See if you can pick up your left toes and point them out to the left. Hold and breathe. Just a fun little challenge, okay? Always feel free to put the left toes down. See if you can wrap your belly button in, push down through the right heel, and maybe open up the space around your ears. Maybe lift that left leg just to play around. See, getting that side body nice and warm here, that left side body. One more big breath in. And exhale, drop it down into your squat, just where we were before. Come on down. Ready to do the other side? Inhale up. Hands out to the right, hold, and then start to come up on one tippy toe at a time, rocking your weight back and forth, hands to the right, space around your ears. Then when all the weight is in your left foot, pause. Maybe pick the right toe up and point it to the right. A little balance challenge for you to play with. You can make it very simple with the right toe on the floor. You can make it very exciting by lifting the right leg. You decide. Belly button in, push into the floor. Breathe. One more big breath here. Come down into your squat. All right, palms are down here. You're just going to walk forward to hands and knees. And I'll meet you here. All right. Let's transition into a supported side plank. So if you send your right leg out behind you and just drop the toes, then you can kind of swing your left lower leg out to the left. Okay? And reach up with that right hand. So take a moment to arrange yourself. This is such a fun, great posture. It's so simple, but it feels so good. And you don't have to be super warm to do it. So I really like it for side opening and warming up. Make sure your left shoulder is over your left wrist. Make sure your left knee is under your left hip. And when you look at your left hand, your left knee, and your right foot, you could draw a straight line between all three of them, okay? Roll the shoulders away from your ears, belly button to spine, and we're going to reach that right hand way far over to the left. Take a moment here, breathing deeply into that right side. Press down the outer edge of the right foot. Reach the right fingers a little further. One more big breath right here. And let it go. Right hand back to the floor. Right knee back to the floor. Let's do the other side. So left leg out behind. Tuck the toes. Drop the left heel. Swing the right lower leg to the right. And the left hand can come up. Other side. I'll spin around to face you. So take a moment to just arrange yourself here. Everything in a straight line on the floor. And then pull the belly button in, shoulders away from ears, so your spine is very long, tailbone points at your left foot, and that left hand can come way overhead. Big side stretch. Breathe here, long neck. Really round and press down the outer edge of that left foot. One more big breath right here. And bring it down. All hands down. Come back to hands and knees. Let's just bring it up to a down dog. Tuck your toes. Come on up with the hips. And let's walk it out. Let's make this a very generous, dynamic, stretchy down dog, where we're just walking out the heels. Rolling shoulders. Okay, let's get a little bit stretchy. Let's get a little bit warm and then a little bit stretchy. So come up on your tippy toes. High up on your tippy toes. And then see if you can bend your knees and just hover them just off the mat. So just bring them as close as you can. Pick them back up. And then drop your heels. Again, heels up. Inhale. Exhale, knees down. Almost touch, but hover. Inhale, knees up. Exhale, heels down. Now, can you just do that a few more times on your own? Just nice and slow. The slower, the more controlled, the more aware, the more skillful. Feel the legs getting warm. One more time. All right, from here, bring it down to hands and knees. Okay, inhale here, right leg up and out behind you. Send it out there from your hands and knee. And exhale, right knee to your nose. Again, inhale, send it back. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time, send it back. Knee to nose, and hold right here. Building a little bit more warmth. Pull that knee in, push that floor. One more big breath here. Very nice. Send that right foot forward and step it by your right hand. Okay, go ahead and walk the left knee back a little bit. Okay, and let's circle the hips out here. Just get some nice mobility. So we have some nice stirring movement here in this left hip. See, that hip is just getting really stirred out. Also in the right, feel the movement of the right head of the femur in that hip joint, that acetabulum. And let's rewind it a couple times. And then just settle in here to a lunge. Maybe hang out with your elbows bent. Okay, maybe you have a block that you'd like to put your hands on. And let's take a few breaths right here. Can we turn this into a twist? So tucking those back toes, hovering that back knee if that's appropriate, or you can always bring it down. Let's reach up with the right hand. Big breath in here. Let's hang here and extend in all directions. I want you to take up a lot of space here. Okay, pressing through the back heel, reaching through the right fingers, dropping the hips, and really make the legs strong here. The legs are trying to pull together. Okay, so get a little warmth built in the legs. And then try this. Drop that left heel to the ground so the left toes point over to the right. Point the right toes to the right too. So you've just rolled onto the outer edge of your right foot. And lift the hips really high. Maybe reach the right hand way over your head. Take a big breath in here. Push the floor down. And exhale. Drop your hips almost to the floor. Reach your right hand for the back of the mat. Feels good along that outer hip, okay? Let's do it again. Inhale here. Sweep it up. Make a big rainbow shape and push the floor away. Exhale, sink the hips low, reach for the back of the mat. A few more times. Inhale, push the floor away, big sweeping movement. Exhale, drop low. 2 more times, big breath in. And big exhale. Last one, bring it up. And bring it down. Okay, cartwheel that right hand up and around underneath your right shoulder, and we'll drop that back knee. We're coming back to hands and knees. Take the hands and feet wide here and kind of circle it out. Circle it out the other way. And then I'll meet you in a down dog. Tuck your toes, walk it out. Let's take a little time here in this down dog. Notice the difference between the back of the right leg and the left. Hopefully a little extra spaciousness, a little room to breathe. And then let's bring it down to hands and knees. I'll meet you there. So inhale here, left leg up and out behind. Exhale, draw the left knee to your nose. Again, inhale, send it back. Exhale, pull it in. One more, send it back. Pull it in. Hold and breathe here. Okay, push the floor down. Build some heat in the hip flexor, in that left hip flexor, okay? And one more big breath. And then let it go. Send that left foot to the outside of your left hand. And we'll start to circle the hips around. Maybe you move the right knee back to give yourself more space to move. Okay, begin to notice here the back of the left leg, the left hamstring. How's it doing today? How's the front of the right? Okay, anything to note there? Reverse that movement. Okay, and let's ground that left foot, okay? And I want you to just kind of settle into this twist for a little while. Allow yourself to feel just your imprint on the ground. It's really not a lot. We got a foot, 2 hands, and a lower leg. So start to engage those legs toward each other. Tuck the back toes, hover the back knee, and left hand reaches up. Nice twist. So take a moment in your twist to really start to draw the legs together. Push into the floor. Spiral your chest open. Sink into this a little more before we start to move. Okay, so first we targeted that outer left hip. Now we're going to get into the outer right hip on this side. So all your toes are now going to turn to face the left. I like to do a mini hop on my right foot there. Turn the right toes to the left. Turn the left toes to the left. Now push the floor away. Sweep your right hand overhead. Big breath in. And exhale, drop the hips as low as they can go without touching. Right outer hip. Let's do it again, a few more times. Inhale, big rainbow shape, push the floor. Exhale, drop low, reach for the back of the mat. Keep it going. Try doing this with your eyes closed. It's kind of nice to just move without knowing where you're going sometimes. Maybe 2 more times. Big movement. Take up a lot of space while you do this. Let this last one be the most spacious movement you've done yet. And then allow that left hand to cartwheel down and around in front. We're coming back to hands and knees, so I'll meet you there. Hands wide, feet wide, circle it out a little bit. Do some little tabletop circles. And reverse it. Okay, let's get the right foot forward again. Right foot by the right hand. Okay, we may be able to move that right knee back a little bit. Okay, sorry, that's a left knee. Move the left knee back. Use the right knee as a prop. Come on up. Okay, we got the hips nice and warm. The legs are warm. So put some engagement between the knees. Okay, the inner thighs are attempting to draw up and in. So feel as if every part of your body, the right and left, front and back, is all pulling in toward a central point. Just become aware in your imagination where that would be. Okay, and we're going to start to move here. So inhaling, reach your hands up. Think of lifting your heart in your low lunge, but keep your legs strong. As you exhale, drop your hands in front and pull your hips back. Point your right toes at your nose. Try to keep your spine long. We'll do that a few more times. Inhale, heart up. Think of pulling your heart open as you squeeze the floor with your legs. And exhale, fingers down, hips back. Okay, inhale, Anjane Asana, low lunge. Exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Okay, maybe twice more. Keep the legs warm, keep them strong and turned on. One more. Okay, pause here, back in your low lunge. We'll take care of this left quad here for a little bit. So starting out with your hands under your shoulders, just look over to your right knee and then look all the way behind you at your left foot. And let's curl the foot in toward the glute and then push it away a few times. Curl it in, pull it away. Curl it in, pull it away. And then finally curl it in, see if you can grab it. I like to get the top of the foot here and kind of pull the top of the foot in by the toes because it feels like a good stretch across the top of the foot. So try that. And once you've got the foot, you can pull it in towards your glute just until you feel the perfect opening in your quadriceps in the front of your thigh. Nothing painful, okay? No pain, please. And then roll around on the very top edge of the kneecap or the bottom edge of the front of your thigh, and find some nice, maybe some tension in there you can kind of massage out. Okay, I find that to be a tremendous help for releasing the tops of the thighs. And then allow that to kind of soften up. We're going to take our grip, left hand to the outside of the right ankle, okay? Sorry, right hand to the outside of the left ankle. I got it backwards. Okay, so grab that ankle back there on the outside and then kick the foot away from you. Allow the shoulders in front to peel open to the ceiling. And we'll take a little breath time here. Nice big breath, starting to peel that heart space open. Allow your neck to be long. Allow your nose to point where it feels natural. One more big breath here, yogis. And all the hands come down in front. Boom. Toes down and back. Come on back to down dog. Or to hands and knees. And then I'll meet you in down dog. Walk out the legs. Notice the back of the legs here. Both sides. Any similarities, any differences? And then down to hands and knees again. Switching sides again. Left foot by left hand. Okay. Finding a little low lunge. You can use that left knee to press up. Okay. And sink into your lunge. Use the legs to make this an active posture, that you're not just sinking down into your legs, okay? So anytime we want to stretch or lengthen a muscle, we have to have activity in it to keep it safe, okay? It's called an eccentric contraction. So pull the knees toward each other, gather all the tissues up and in towards center, feeling strong. And then we'll move, inhaling, Anjani Asana, so peel open your big heart. And exhale, fingertips down, pull your hips back. You can point those left toes at your nose to get that good back of the leg opening. So keep it going, just find a little rhythm here. Close your eyes maybe, this is a nice one. Just to feel yourself moving. Keep the back of the left leg active. Keep the front of the right. Any tissue you're lengthening, keep it active. Maybe one more. Okay, feels good. Nice movement. And then next time you come back to your little lunge, let's pause here. Both hands on the ground, and then we'll turn to look over the left knee and look behind you. And you can just put your left hand wherever for now. But we'll start to do some hamstring curls on that right side. So right foot curls in towards your glute and then pushes away. A couple more times. Pull it in, push it away. Okay, next time you pull it in, hold right there. See if you can grab the foot. I'd say start with the top of the foot, getting that stretch on the front, and pull the heel in to your glute until it's good, okay? Don't hurt yourself here. There's no reason to feel pain. And then once you've got a good stretch in there, start to roll on the top of the kneecap. The very bottom fibers of all that tissue on the top of the thigh should feel nice. You can get some nice release on the quad here, so take your time. And then when you've massaged out that top of the kneecap enough, you can flex the foot. So pointing the toes away from you, grab the outside of the ankle. So that's the right ankle. Left hand grabs the outside of the right ankle. And start to kick the right foot away from you so that left shoulder opens up. And take a few breaths here in this big heart opener. Big space between that left and right shoulder. One more breath. And we're letting it go, okay? Release that right foot back to the floor. All hands back around front. Back to hands and knees, and then back to down dog. I'll meet you there again. Let's check out the backs of the legs again. Wow. Okay. Nice space across the backs of the legs. Let's get a little back bendy. Okay, we've gotten the legs nice and open. I'm feeling good about it. Go ahead and drop to your knees and then come all the way down to your belly. Okay, hands underneath your shoulders, forehead grounded for now. And just take a moment to appreciate the length of your spine and just get your awareness there. Feeling nice and grounded here. Start to really ground your hips and especially your pubic bone. So the bottom end of your pelvis is really heavy. However, as you do that, notice how it tends to lift up your belly button. That's what we want. So pelvis is heavy toward the pubic bone, but the belly button is lifting. So cultivate that feeling and see if you can hold on to that as you hover your nose off the mat. Okay, keep that heavy pubic bone, lifting, belly button feeling. Maybe hover your legs, and maybe hover your palms. And let's just breathe right here, just activating that back body, just kind of turning it on for a moment. So with each breath, could you feel a little bit longer? With each exhale, ground the tailbone, lift the belly button. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, point that tailbone down. One more big breath, hovering here, activating back body. And then release it back down to the floor. Now grip the mat under your shoulders. Pull your elbows in. Dig down the tops of your feet and make sure your tailbone is still pointed at the floor as you inhale and pull your heart up and forward. Pull, pull, pull. Pull, pull, pull until your heart faces forward, and exhale to set it down. Now this might be a really tiny movement, okay? You might just inhale and pull your heart up a couple inches, and that's great. Okay, let's do it a few more times. Inhale, pull your heart up. Remember to pull and not push. And exhale, roll it down. So I want you to just keep going, okay, exploring this little movement. So this can be, as I mentioned, a very gentle, kind of subtle, understated, curling upward of the heart and release. Or it can be a big, luscious, yummy, heart-opening experience. It's really up to you. I just want you to follow your instincts, my friends. Okay, next time you come up into your cobra, find one that you can hold without your arms, okay? So I call it a sustainable cobra. So find your sustainable cobra where you're just using the strength of your back. And then hover your palms and your feet and breathe. Sustainable cobra. Okay, pointing your tailbone at the floor, straight down to the center of the earth is where your tailbone is pointing. Go ahead and reach your hands behind you. See how you feel about that. And keep in mind, you can take a break and come down at any time at all. Not a problem. How about joining your hands and pulling them further away from your head? Breathe. You're longer with each inhale. Tailbone points down with each exhale. Possibly bending one knee and pointing that toe at the back of your head. Hold and breathe. Maybe the same side hand wants to grab its foot. Possibly the other knee bends, toe points at the back of your head. Take a breath. Maybe the other hand wants to grab its foot. And if you have your hands, you can push your feet back. And of course, your hands are attached to them, so your body is going to come with your feet. So you might rock with your breath. Okay, so try it a few times. Let your breath roll and rock you. If this feels great, you can actually switch your grip to your inner ankles. Okay, but make sure that that's something that you want, okay? And then you can move those feet way up high if you like. Keep attempting to point that tailbone down. Maybe 2 or 3 more breaths here. In bow. And then release that. Let everything go on the floor and just rest your head for a few breaths. Soak up the back bend glitter. Turn your head the other way. Take a few more breaths. And then we'll bring it back up into the center. Okay, I'd like to get into some Sphinx from here. So hands underneath your shoulders. And let's do that same grounding of the tailbone here. So attempt to curl your tailbone down and point it at the center of the earth. It's so convenient that as you do that, your belly button naturally lifts and protects your low back. So that's essentially what we're doing. We're protecting your low back so that when we extend your spine, the extension goes into your upper spine rather than straight into your low back and just causing havoc. Okay, so no havoc today. Elbows under shoulders, please. Tailbone points at the floor. Belly button lift. Think of pulling your elbows back as you press them down. So you're drilling your elbows into the ground, but you're also pulling back on them. Notice how that pulls your heart forward, and breathe right here. Think of maybe pressing the tops of your feet down to strengthen that connection with the floor. And continue to pull your heart a little bit more forward with your strong arms. Remember to keep your neck long, okay? From here, I'm going to give you some options. Okay, keep your tailbone pointing down, the tops of your feet grounded. It might feel nice for you to lift your elbows, but now your hands are still pulling down and back. Make sure your elbows are pointing down, okay? So keep in mind, you're still pulling on the floor. We're never pushing. We only want to add length to the spine as we extend it. We don't want to compress it as we extend it. So maybe your hands walk a little closer to you, but you're still pulling, okay? The tailbone's still pointing down, and your feet are still strong in the floor. Okay, seal pose. You can even take your hands out to the side if you like. Pull on that floor. Keep breathing here in Sphinx pose or seal pose, whatever you've chosen. One more big breath in here. And let it go. Again, come all the way down. Rest your head. Take some breaths. Soak up the magic from that. And turn your head the other way. Soak up the magic for the few breaths here. And then we're coming back up to center. So come back up. Hands on your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Back up to hands and knees. And turn sideways on your mat here. Go ahead and get sideways. And if you have a hard floor or sensitive knees, you might want to double or triple fold your mat. If you're on a nice rug or you don't really have any knee problems, then it's probably not going to bother you. But go ahead and start to take your feet or your knees really wide. So from a hands and knees position, just start walking the knees out till they're kind of wide. And then make sure your feet are flexed and your toes point out to the side. Okay, and your knees are just about at a right angle. And very importantly also, look at your hips. Make sure your hips are right between your knees and you're not forward of your knees or way in back of your knees. You're right there in the middle. Okay? Now once you're here, we're just gonna kind of find a place that we can get a little settled in, because time and gravity will do a lot of the work for us here. So lift that belly button in towards your spine. That same feeling of trying to point your tailbone down at the floor, do that now so that you feel your belly button lifting in response. Okay? And then keep that. So attempt to not let your low back just cave in toward the floor. Keep some support. And lift your right foot off the floor. So internally rotate the right hip and then set the right foot down. Lift the left foot, internally rotating the left hip. Set the left foot down. Let's go side to side on the right. Keep the belly button lifted on the left. Okay, you can continue going side to side like this. If this seems like you want a little more, you'll do both at the same time. Both lift and both lower. So option A or B, pick the one you like the most. And then next time you have one or two up, hold right there. Hold them up in the air. Keep the ankles flexed, keep the knees flexed, but resist the floor with your knees, like you're trying to push the floor away from you. Pull the belly button into your spine. Resist the floor. Resist, resist, resist. Push the floor down, down, down. Feel all that tissue between your knees and your hips warming. Okay. If you have one foot up, switch sides. 2 feet up, keep going. Breathe. Push, push, push the floor down. Keep your tailbone pointed down for 3, 2, and 1. Now release your feet back to the floor. Okay, I want you to take one hand to one knee and gently move that knee a little further. Other hand to other knee, gently move that knee a little further. You probably had a little extra space now, didn't you? So let's take a few breaths here. Same thing, lift one foot, lift the other foot. Decide if you want to lift one at a time or both. We're going to do 3 rounds like this, opening up some nice space in the inner thigh, just so you know. Full disclosure, okay? Lifting both or one. And then next time you are up with 1 or 2 feet, hold and breathe. Okay, the feet are high, the hips are internally rotating. Now push the floor with your knees. Push, 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 push. Okay, getting that tissue in between the knees warm. If you had 1 foot, switch feet. Both feet, just keep going. 1 more big breath here. And relax the legs, okay? Maybe if you have the knees wide enough, you can just kind of shimmy them side to side and they'll get a little wider. I'm kind of a fan of the shimmy movement. So see if you have a little extra space in there. We're going to do 1 more round. Remember, belly button up, okay? Tailbone down. Don't let it cave in. 1 more round. 1 or 2 feet up, 1 or 2 feet down. Keep it going, up and down. Good work, everyone. This is good stuff. Okay, you won't regret it. Okay, next time you have 1 or 2 up, hold and breathe. Lift that belly button. Resist the floor. Use your strong legs. Push down. If you have 1 leg, switch sides. 3, 2, and 1. Oh, drop your feet. Maybe one last time. Wiggle a little bit wider. See if you got a little extra space in there. And then here's the best way that I've figured out to get out of this. Okay, just fold your feet closer toward each other. Fold them in. And then walk your hips back like you're like a froggy position right now. Walk back in your froggy position until you can bring your knees closer together. So come all the way down here. And take a moment just sitting on your feet. Okay, maybe close your eyes. And notice how your hips feel after that. As you're ready, sit your hips to one side and find a straddle. Let's just see what kind of work we did there. So it doesn't have to be a crazy straddle, just something that feels appropriate for you and your needs and goals. And see if maybe you want to bend your knees a little bit. Just pick them up. I like to pick my knees up and move them away from each other just a little. And then I can kind of extend back into them. So remember to keep your legs active here. We don't ever want to let them fall asleep. So each leg is 100% active, okay? Pulling inward toward the midline, okay? By 100% active, I mean that all of the leg is active, although it might not be 100% of your strength. It might just be slightly engaged, but all of it is. Okay, hope that makes sense. And we're just going to play around with the straddle. So turn over by your left foot and attempt to square your shoulders off by that left foot. One hand on either side of the left leg. Let's have a long spine here. Close your eyes. And then without any goal in mind, without any expectations, just move your heart towards your left foot. And pause when you feel like your spine is really starting to round. Just pause there. And breathe. Maybe your hands move so that they're more under your shoulders. And I like to kind of use my hands on the mat to orient my shoulders to be more squared off with the foot. See how that feels in your right lower back. Perhaps with your next breath or two, you start to move your heart an inch closer to the foot. Hold and breathe. Maybe use your hands to keep you on track here with the heart moving toward that toe. And keep breathing. Okay, with every few breaths, could you walk the heart a little closer to the left big toe? Maybe come down to elbows here. Now remember to keep the right glute grounded. Okay, it tends to come up. So continue to lengthen all sides of the torso as the right hip grounds. It's possible your forehead will drop. That's fine. Just keep your neck long, okay? And breathe into that right side. Maybe one more breath here. And then we'll walk up and out of this. So walk your hands back up by your hips. And hands around the right leg now. So turning out in that direction. Give your spine some time to rotate over there. And gently using the fingers to kind of orient your shoulders to square off on that right foot, okay? Gentle being a key word here. Start to move your heart toward the right big toe. Pause when you feel the spine rounding and breathe. Breathe length into all sides of the torso and heaviness into the left hip. And maybe the hands walk a little closer to that right foot. It's possible you'll come down to your elbows, maybe not. Possible the head will drop. Do your best to keep length in the spine as you allow it to round. Keeping a balance between lengthening and rounding. And then as you're ready, we'll walk this back up and into center. From here, we're here, we might as well try walking our hands forward. So if that sounds terrible and like it's a bad idea, then then don't feel like you have to do it, okay? You also can just back out of this by lifting your knees and leaning back at any time. However, if you're interested in attempting to walk in your hands forward and it feels tight, try lifting your knees and see how that affords you a little extra space. So we'll just start to walk our hands forward. Again, same idea. There's length in the spine. We have no expectations at all. And then we're just breathing. The heart moves forward. Okay, if you can extend your knees, awesome. But keep the legs actively pulling inward towards your hips. Okay, you may come down to your elbows today. And if we've done some really nice work in your hips today and you're just feeling great about it, you can reach your hands out either to the side or forward. I like to reach my hands out by my feet, and you can bring your chest all the way to the ground and even rest maybe your forehead or your chin on the ground. So play around with that. You're going to want to keep the legs quite active. Okay, they don't have to be blazing with strength, but at least a little bit of activity. And we've always got length in the spine, of course. Maybe one more breath here to enjoy. And as you're ready to start walking yourself out, just walk the hands back in towards your hips. And after all that straddling, we may be feeling a little noodly in the legs. So you can use your hands, one under each knee, to pick your knees up. And bring them back together. Bring your knees together. Maybe lean on your hands and take some windshield wipers after all that. See how everything's feeling. All right, next time your knees point up, pause here and lengthways on your mat, okay? Long ways. Let's make sure the feet are on the floor. And we can have the fingers pointed out to the side, maybe even a little bit back if that feels nice, so that your shoulders are more externally rotated, okay? And then let's push the floor away. Go ahead and lift your hips nice and high. And let's take a few breaths here. Open in the front of the shoulders, open in the hip flexors. Make sure your neck is long and you're still pushing the floor down. One more big breath here into the front of your body, opening it all up. And then as you're ready to let it go, come down with the hips. See if you can put your feet on the floor and keep your knees bent here. Reach forward past your knees and roll yourself down really slowly. So trying to control this belly button to spine. And once your head lands, get comfortable. We'll just take one more little twist to seal things off and then resting time. So let's take the right leg over the left here. You're just crossing your knees. And if you drop your knees to the left, you'll already feel that twist. Arms out wide. Look over to your right. If you want a little more from this twist, you can experiment with moving the knees up closer towards your left arm and just deepening it. It's going to take a little while for your body to realize that it's okay to relax here and that it's safe to let go. But this can be a powerful posture just for opening up. So I want to invite you to close your eyes here. Breathe deeply through your nose. And allow any sensation of tension or gripping to dissolve with time. Press your right shoulder blade down. Breathe deeply into your whole torso. Hopefully feeling some nice opening sensations across that right hip. Maybe rolling up through your low back, maybe into your chest. As you breathe, think of slightly arching your back up off the floor, creating that much more space in your chest. Keep those shoulders grounded though. And let's switch sides. So swing the knees through center, uncross, and then recross left on top. And let's drop the knees to the right. Look to the left. Big twist time. Okay, lengthen your spine here. If you need to move your shoulder blades away from your hips, awesome. Grounding shoulder blades. Let's give time for this left side of the low back and hip to open up. As you're ready, let's bring the legs back through center. Uncross. And extend your legs and arms into your resting posture. Find Shavasana or whatever your resting posture is today. Close your eyes and breathe through your nose. You have arrived at your resting time. Allow your back body to smoosh and melt heavily into the floor. Your soft breath smooths out any tension that might remain, including in your jaw, your forehead. Allow yourself to drift and become lost in the sensations of this moment. This is the only moment we have. This is the only one there is. Be present with yourself here. Spending just a little time just to be with yourself. Please keep resting like this for as long as you can. Thank you so much for joining me.